Live, Rockin' Inc. MC, live from New York. Back, another show, another weekend gone. I'm a little tired today. Long weekend. Had a great weekend. I actually left Friday. I went down to Florida. I spent some time. I worked a convention with my lovely lady, Anne-Marie, down there. And believe it or not, I was up at 4. Had to catch a 6 a.m. flight in so I could get here to do my show because for some reason there's only 2 flights out of Florida from that airport. One gets here tonight, one gets in the morning, in the afternoon, but it was crazy. But I'm here, and my voice is a little tired, but I'm here. I'm here in full swing. But I had a great weekend, and I want to talk about some of the things that we have coming up on December 7th, and I keep talking about it. I have my event, and I have the flyer. I want to show the flyer. We finally got our tickets. We had advance tickets at $12. At the door, it's going to be $15. I have Tang, Mickey James's premiere show on Long Island. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have, well, I'm looking for my Rockin' Inc. co-host, Mrs. Rockin' Inc. We're going to do that. Also, for a charity, I want you guys to bring a toy for the charity. Let's see if I have it on here. I think I have it on here. Yeah, the Family Services League. You bring an unopened toy for the Family Services League, and we'll put your name also in a raffle for that night, and you could win a $200 basket from Cactus Salon with products and services also. And we're going to have a lot of good stuff happening. We're going to have the Armageddon girls there. They're going to be selling calendars. We're going to have a few contests. So let's try to all get there, and that's December 7th at Revolution in Amityville. Some of the other things I have going on is I have some weird shows that I'm putting together coming up. So the holidays are coming, so it's a little harder to get guests, and so I got some special shows that I'm putting together. Also, December 7th, we're recording that show, so I'll have a 2-hour special show on that also. But I want to get to what I really got going on tonight. And tonight I have, she's a model, an actress. She's on TLC, the Food Network, Spike TV. She's really done everything. Model, actress, magazines. But I have Kitty Crystal here with me tonight. And Kitty is a little kitty because when you see her in pictures, you think she's a big kitty. But she's a small pine kitty, right? How tall are you?
I'm only 5'3", and that is exactly what everybody always says to me. Anytime anybody sees just photos or video footage of me, they always think, oh my gosh, you look so tall. And then I'm really little. It's shocking.
I've gone through a lot of pictures in the last few weeks putting stuff together for the show, and then I finally get to see her. I'm like, wow, she's a little tiny.
I am really little. It's always embarrassing to go to like sets, and it's always like, 5'7" models, and I'm like, hello.
You're the little
How
one,
are
right?
you?
But that's what's great about being on camera and behind the camera, right? Because the camera catches things that that's beyond what we really are, right?
It's interesting. I love it. I love to see people's perceptions of me when then I show up and I'm like this little person who's bubbly and happy, and everybody always thinks I'm going to be like evil and mean and bitchy, and I'm not. I'm just like, hey guys, let's have fun.
Yeah, so like I started doing research on you, because I research everyone on the show. I try to find something really messed up, but sometimes, it's not that easy to. But researching your name was fun because every time I put Kitty Crystal in, Hello Kitty would come up. And if you don't know Hello Kitty, that's that little kitty cat and, the cartoon, whatever. So it was very hard pulling stuff,
When I tried to get my own website, I wanted kittycrystal.com. That's taken. It's a kitty litter.
Kitty litter.
So unfortunately, there's a cat litter brand out there with my name. So I'm kind of in competition with them. So.
But where'd you come up with the kitty side of your name?
Actually, it's kind of a cute little story. My real name's Crystal, and when I was like 6, I believe, my brother married a woman named Crystal. So there was 2 of us with the exact same names. So, I couldn't be Crystal and Crystal, so they called me Chris, but my mom married a man whose son's name is Chris. So my nicknames got really limited in like junior high. They started calling me Kitty. Okay. Stuck a long time.
That's good. But Hello Kitty has just taken over. Man. You just you can't win on that one.
It is, I know.
But what's really good about it is that you're popular, and the search engines aren't showing you, and you're popular. You're doing a good job.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but
you're doing a great job.
It's going good. It's going really good.
Yeah. So I know you're here in New York. So let's talk about where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Las Vegas. Which is really a strange place to be as a child, especially in the 80s and 90s. there was not a lot to do really as a kid, and I just assumed everybody's mom worked nights and had big boobs, except for my mom. So but I come from like a lower end family. You know, we're all hardworking, you know, middle class people, and you know, we worked in the service industry, and it was different because there's not a big middle class in Vegas. You either have a lot of money or not a lot of money. So we did crazy stuff as kids. We were always out running around and running the streets, and I actually got into music really young. I worked at the Huntridge, which I hear now is closed, but like I worked with, you know, selling water and stuff for benefit shows, and I got to see Voodoo Glow Skulls before they were big, and all these bands way back in the day, and it was really, really nice to be in that environment. The music industry was really interesting back then. There was a lot of punk shows and stuff like that, so it was good.
So were you near the Strip, close to it, or was it a distance away?
It was a little bit of a way, and back then it wasn't as spread out as it is now. Like Henderson and all these other cities are now like attached to Vegas. When I was growing up, like, you know, we would go to the Strip, and that was like all we could do really is just, you know, parents would drop you off and be like, good luck, have fun, we'll be back in 10 to get you. I'm like, wait, that sounds like a terrible idea. And I was an adult, I'm like, who would drop their kids off and just leave them? But you know, now it's different. Like, you've got walkways and barriers. People used to run into traffic and all kinds of stuff. It's not like that anymore. It's very Disney now.
Well, they try to make it Disney. It didn't work. The MGM failed at that. They tried.
Yes!
Right?
Oh,
They
that
put
was
the big
fun.
theme park in there. They
Yes!
always were family oriented.
I used to love that theme park. It was my favorite when I was
Didn't work.
little.
You know,
No.
when prostitution is all over the streets, you're not going to have Disneyland around there. You know,
It
it's
was
Disneyland
great.
for the adults, and that's as far as it's going to be. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I remember being a kid, and I think I was like just getting into high school, and my stepdad would be like, whose house do you want to go to? You want to go to Tristan's house? Is her mom the one that works nights? I'll take you. Let me take you over there.
So how did you end up in New York?
It was a little bit of an adventure. I've been kind of all over the United States. I went to college in Long Beach, California, and I worked in LA. I was actually a fashion designer in LA for a while. I used to intern at Lip Service, which was a really awesome store, and unfortunately Drew just recently passed, but he was one of the first people to ever give me a chance in the industry, and that was really, really wonderful. After that, I moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, and I opened a tattoo parlor there, and the economy kind of sank, and it was, you know, hard times, so I ended up leaving that, but I've worked in the tattoo industry and with the tattoo community for a very long time. In fact, that's actually how I got into acting and some other things. It's just based on having tattoos and being involved in the tattoo community. So about 4 years ago, I got an opportunity to move to New York and continue pursuing what I do, and I actually got moved up here, and here I am.
When did you get your first tattoo?
Oof, I got my first tattoo at 16, which I absolutely do not recommend to anyone. It's terrible. It's so embarrassing now. But I have a fairy on my back. It's not good. It's just not good. And I got it in someone's, in their house.
In the house?
Which was sterile and clean, and now they, you know, they own their own business, but I don't recommend anyone to do that. I definitely think people should wait, because your ideas and views at 16 are so different.
Do you think about maybe
20.
covering it up at all? Or-
Yeah, I've thought about it. It's in a pretty painful spot in my back of my ribs, and nobody really ever sees it. So I'm all right with it. It's gonna stay. I have other things I need to cover. Another few drunken
Other things,
nights.
right? You got better things to mess with, right? And you have a lot of work now, and are you still pursuing, like, I still want this? Are you still like that?
Every day I wake up. I just went to New Orleans for a few days. I ran around the streets of New Orleans. I went by myself, which was great. I love traveling alone. I think it's underrated. But I ran into a good friend of mine who I haven't seen in years, and he's from Florida. He's a tattoo artist. And he was like, you know, I got to tattoo you while you're here. So I got a little shrunken head to, you know, for my trip to New Orleans. I think it's perfect. It fits perfectly.
Yeah,
I love it.
now, would you ever think of filling in?
I am. I'm eventually going to get there. I have these weird little spots that I've got like all over that I just need to figure out what to fit into them. But I mean, there's so many opportunities, and I never wanted to be one of those people that just fills up the whole sleeve with just like stars and dots. It's very traditional, and I appreciate that, but I feel like we have such more opportunities to do great little tiny fillers and pieces, so I definitely want to do that.
That's good. So
Yeah.
you got into the great part of art. And is there one particular artist you use, or have you gotten stuff from all over the place?
All over the place. I've actually been featured on several different tattoo shows, which has been really great because somebody else pays for my tattoos. And you know they're really expensive. But I actually, some of my best and favorite pieces are by a girlfriend of mine, Jenny B. Good, out of South Jersey. She did like my big bunny, and she's done a bunch of other really awesome pieces on me, and I love her. I absolutely adore her. And I think having a good rapport with your tattoo artist makes a huge difference, because it's not just a piece of artwork that you have on you forever, but it's also the experience and, you know, getting to know that person and sharing pieces of your life with that person. And that means a lot, especially to me. I don't know if everybody else does, but
I've used 2 artists, and that's it.
that's wonderful. That's great. I think everybody, it's, you know, it hurts. It's a painful
trust
experience.
thing. It's a trust thing.
Exactly, and it's something you can never give away.
Yeah.
You can never take your tattoo and be like, I don't want it, you can have it. It's yours forever. And even if somebody copies it, it's still your tattoo.
That's right. So, all right, we're going to go to a commercial. We'll be back with Kitty Crystal in a few minutes.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have 2 practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our 2 offices. Thank you.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand Wash and Detail Centre. Hog's hair and microfiber brushes and mitts, proudly used in Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
Back, Rockin' Inc. Here with Kitty Crystal, and we'll continue. And Kitty has a lot of different things she does, and she's all over the place. But I want to right now jump on the artsy side of you. So you do some painting and drawing and all that, but you're not a tattoo artist.
That's true. I'm not a tattoo artist. Even though I own my own shop and I work a lot in the tattoo community, I have so much respect for what they do, and I felt that if I could never master the craft, I probably shouldn't do it. So I didn't do it, which is fine. But I actually came out with my own children's book in 2010. It was self-published through some friends of mine. It was absolutely adorable. I loved it. It was one of the most amazing feelings ever, is to see your own artwork come to life and do readings for kids and signings for kids. Absolutely adorable. I loved it. I loved it.
Do you still go out there?
Yeah, I did it for a while. I did some charity work for like the South Bronx, where the kids wrote stories and then they'd send me like crude sketches of what they wanted, and I would actually re-render them and then send them back, and they made their own little books, and it was all for charity, and it was really, really beautiful. But I don't do it as much as I should, just because I've been so busy touring and doing all this other stuff. Has been a lot.
What's great about books never get old.
It's true.
They grow with people. So like generation after generation, you can always present that book to the generations.
It's great, yeah, and it's the older you get, the more your friends have kids, and they have kids, and all that other stuff. And so, if I ever want to give someone a gift and I don't know what to give them, I give them a copy of my children's book, and then, it means something to both of us, and and it's about a little boy who eats boogers, which is really funny. Which I love, which I think's hilarious. Most mothers don't like it, but the fathers love it, and it's great. It always works well for me, so whatever.
That's good.
Yeah.
So then you were doing the books, and then you got into all these other things. So then
I did.
You were involved with some music type of thing.
I did. I was really fortunate during Orion Festival, which was Metallica's 3-4 day long festival over the last couple of years. Kirk Hammett hired me to be a live model for his haunted house that he had during Orion Festival, and we would stand up there while he did speeches and lectures, and we even attended some of Lars's speeches and stuff, and it was really awesome because they flew me around and I got to hang out with Metallica for a week and just be crazy and awesome, and I got to meet all the guys from Death Division and all them, and it's been great. It's one of the most amazing experiences. That's just surreal to wake up and realize I'm in Detroit and I'm hanging out with Kirk Hammett and I'm, Tom Savini sitting on the couch across from me, and, I got Jerry Montano sitting over here who's my all-time crush. Yeah. And, and I get to hear about all their fun stuff and their new albums and everything, and it's great, and I'm just like, how did I get here? Who picked me to do this? And you realize, having a positive attitude, being in the right place, and just putting yourself out there and taking a risk, and it pays off.
Yeah, you gotta move forward and go get it, because it's not gonna come to you. You don't. Some people have that luck, but you have to just keep going with it. Even I had guests in the past. Everyone talks about it. You have to have the drive and just go for it.
Absolutely, and nothing ever works out the way you want it. And I've done projects where I was like, oh man, I want to do this so bad, and you get the project and you're like, yes, it's the best day ever, and you get on set and everybody's mean to you and it doesn't even play out, and they cut your lines, or who else knows, and you realize, oh man, this is not what I expected it to be at all. And it's kind of a letdown. And then you have little projects where you get, they're like, I can pay you $50, and then you find out that you've got like a, decent role in a film that does really well. I just actually was the bartender in Obvious Child with Jenny Slate and a bunch of other comedians, and I love comedies. Like, I've always wanted to do comedy shows, and I do a lot of reality and stuff like that. So comedy has not really been up there in my options.
Yeah.
But I did this comedy, and I got paid like $50. It was terrible. It was like 2 days, freezing, no heat. I was like, oh, miserable. This is terrible. And then the movie came out in the theaters, and I had people calling me from across the nation being like,
Yeah.
do you know you're in this movie? I'm like, yeah. I knew I was in it, but I didn't know it was going to be that big, and they're a big supporter of Planned Parenthood, and I totally support that. I was just blown away. Such a good opportunity for $50.
$50.
Who would have known? Who would have known?
But the exposure, what it's all about too. Sometimes
Exactly.
you're not going to make the money, and you get the exposure. The exposure helps you moving forward also.
Exactly. And and because of all these little things I've done, I've gotten to do bigger projects and meet all these amazing people and do things like this. And I would have never got to do it if I didn't take a chance and just get out there and meet people. And having a positive attitude really makes a huge difference. I met a lot of really beautiful women who have really sour attitudes.
Yep.
It's not going to help you.
It's
At all.
not easy at all, right? So then you also got heavily involved in a lot of the tattoo modeling side stuff.
I did. In fact, I work with groups called like Ladies of Metal, and we do band merch, and then we do music videos. I've done like 2-3 dozen music videos over the last few years. I've worked with Luke and Nicole. Just, a lot of different people and a lot of different things. And then I was on the Food Network. And so when I did the Food Network, a lot of the pinup community really got drawn to me. And so I now am like the spokesperson for a cupcake apron company. And I do Inked Attic Apparel and Raw Terror and all these great companies because they thought I was goofy and silly online, which is great. And I don't mind different genres. So I've been fortunate enough that I can kind of mold my way into the pinup world and, the latex fetish world and then, the tattoo community. And everybody's been really accepting because, just
So
be
how
happy.
many magazines have you been in? How many covers have you been on?
I've
Just so people know, what you've done.
I've been in over 100 magazines around the world. I've
Worldwide.
done 19 covers, I think, around the world, from South Africa to Australia. I've got a big spread in like Ink Girls coming out, which now is all digital, but it's still great. The digital world is where it's at.
Yeah.
So just a lot of really great things coming up on the horizon. I'm on 3 different TV shows coming out this fall, winter, springish. So end of 2014, beginning of 2015. I'm kind of a big nerd, and I love comics, so I'm on Comic Book Men along with some other really great shows.
So what I want to do is, because we were talking about the modeling portion of it, tonight I'm going to feature you on the Model Spotlight. So I want to show people some of your work. And like
It's
we were saying
exciting.
earlier when we first came on the show, is that in the pictures, you don't look like this little short little girl, right?
This little nerdy, goofy
So
bubble
they'll
of
get a
energy.
chance to see some of that. I put a pretty good little package together here. Like I said,
I'm excited.
you did have a lot of pictures to pick from. So it was it's hard to select. So
Yeah.
let's go to Kitty Crystal, and she's our Model Spotlight for tonight.
Welcome to Rockin' Ink MC. I'm Kitty Crystal. You can find out more information about me on my website, kittycrystalofficial.com.
Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is one of the largest suppliers in the world and your #1 resource for top quality, affordable tattoo and piercing supplies. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is the #1 supplier of tattoo inks in the world, with more than 200 products including Mom's Ink, Philadelphia Eddie's Traditional Inks, Paolini Sacred Color Inks, and more. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply, your one-stop shopping destination for great service, best prices, and top quality supplies. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are undeniably distinctive. Selected for their unique, memorable flavor, Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are delivered to you in beautifully designed bottles featuring limited edition artwork. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are available at affordable prices in fine restaurants, bars, and liquor stores. Or check www.coneyislandcarlo.com for availability.
I'm back here with Kitty, and we just seen her model spotlight. I have my very own Kitty Crystal pictures now. This is actually one of her most famous, her booty one. This is the most famous. She took it in her kitchen. But I got some of my own, almost like having playing cards, right? Big playing cards at home, big playing cards, right?
I felt like they were good, you know.
Yeah,
everybody has business cards, and they're little, and they get lost, and so I was like, you know what can I do to try to bring this back in, that people have something awesome to keep with them? And so these are actually from some of my favorite photographers. These are from Vegas, and that one's my living room. So
Yeah, there you go.
you get to see my own little house. How exciting is that? I love it.
So before you got into the tattoo industry as far as modeling, you had some personal things going on, right? Let's talk about that.
I mean, I never wanted to be a model. I didn't really feel comfortable with myself to be like, woo, I'm pretty. Like, I just felt like that was weird. I was always kind of a tomboy and like a little punk rock kid. I had like a mohawk in high school, you know. I never thought of myself as like, you know, an attractive person that would sell clothes and stuff like that. So when I was about 20 years old, I got really sick, and I had a scare with cancer. And I was really sick, and I was in the hospital. I was laying there, and I had this Asian doctor who spoke really bad English, and he came in and was like, so tomorrow you're going to go see the cancer doctor, right? And I was like, excuse me? I'm sorry, what? He's like, yeah. Well, we found some lumps on your heart and your lungs, and we think you have cancer. And I just remember being in college. I was, it's like my second year of college, and I was living alone in LA, and I was just like, holy crap,
Yeah.
what am I going to do? So at the time, I was just kind of like, I would go to treatments and stuff, and you'd be sitting around through radiation just kind of like hanging out, and I couldn't do a whole lot, and I couldn't be exposed to other people, and I would play on the internet. And I came across this photographer, and he did Masumi Max's photos and all these amazing, models, and I was like, these women are gorgeous. Like, oh my God, your work's amazing. And I sent him an email, and I was like, I love your work. You make me feel so good about myself and about everyone else. And, kudos, congratulations. And he was like, I told him about my story, and he was like, I want to shoot you for free. Will you come to my house? And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. This is weird. And it was my first shoot with Perry Gallagher, and he's a very famous photographer. And I've never felt so much better about myself after feeling really bad about yourself. And just, it was a hard time. And for me to get such a positive reaction out of it. And then, I was working at Lip Service as an intern, and I was doing their fashion shoots. And, they were like, you should model. You would be great at this. You have such a bubbly personality, and you take direction really well. And I was like, well, okay. and that was, a lot of years later. And I've, it's paid my bills, and it's helped me travel, and it's been a real big eye-opener. And now I love to give that positive feedback to other women. And a couple weekends ago, I just did the Westchester Tattoo Convention, and Leah Young and I judged the Miss Inked New York 2014 pageant. And a couple of the girls came up afterwards and said, how can I better myself to maybe win? And I love that. I love embracing, not necessarily your failures, but, your triumphs. And along the way, you see how you can do better. And, we worked with some of the girls, and we've been emailing back and forth with them about workshops and safety. That's a huge thing for me, being safe. And just trying to, be comfortable with your own skin.
Yeah, but let me stop you there. You said safety.
Yes.
What do you mean about safety? You know, and I know.
Yeah, well,
Let them know what safety, what you're talking about.
There's a lot of creeps out there, unfortunately. We call them GWCs, guys with cameras that just want to get girls naked and take their photos. And that's, normally Craigslist and stuff like that. And so that's, when girls are younger or unexperienced, you've got to, you've just got to be safe. You don't want to go out there and let someone, ask you to get naked in a trailer in the woods for, $100. Yeah, you're getting paid, and yeah, you're now a paid model, but that doesn't help you. And it's all about having a good portfolio. It's all about having fun and realizing, your strengths and weaknesses. Everybody's body's beautiful. Everybody's beautiful. You've got to know where you are and be comfortable with yourself, and that's a big thing. And safety is number one, always.
Yeah.
Always.
And we talked about earlier, by ourselves, not on camera, about getting tattoos. Right? And you said that you talked to a lot of people about that because at your shop.
Absolutely. Right? That's another thing with safety in general. Yeah. You should always go to an artist who has, ethics. Being really young and getting tattoos in places that you may regret later is really difficult. And it's hard to see these kids walking around with, their ex-boyfriend's names or ex-girlfriend's names across their throats and things like that. It's scary to see people who don't have careers or ideas of where they want to be and then going out and doing things that they may regret later. And it's equally the same with modeling. If you want to work in the law field or you want to become a senator one day, you should probably maybe not do nudes at, 18 years old and things like that. So it really all kind of circles back to, getting to know you, getting to know what you want to do. But taking small steps. You don't need to go out and get your throat tattooed and take your clothes off in the middle of Times Square at 19 years old just because it sounded like a good thing to do. And, maybe that's a little old school, but I think I'm a little bit of an old school person. So.
Yeah. Look, you follow the steps that you believe, and look where you are.
It's worked out really well.
Yeah.
I think ultimately you need three things to be successful. You need to be positive. You need to be professional, and you need to carry business cards, even if they're huge. Even if they're huge business cards.
And they are business cards because
they
have her info on the back.
Exactly. But I mean, I love doing what I'm doing, and it's weird when people ask me what I do, and I'm this little bubbly nerdy girl, and they're like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "I'm a model." I love it. I think it's great. And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah. And besides the modeling now, you're involved in a lot of TV stuff.
I do a lot of TV stuff, and I do a lot of charities. I never necessarily wanted to be an actress. I loved music videos. I come from the MTV generation. I desperately wanted to be a video vixen, never tall enough, and I'm not blonde. So,
but you've gone there.
I have. It's been crazy to see myself in videos, but I never really thought of myself as an actress, and then I tried, and I kind of failed miserably. I wasn't really that good of an actress. I'm a good personality. I'm outgoing and fun and adventurous, but in the realms of like memorizing lines, I'm like, you know, I've got like the card, and I'm like, she said that. It just didn't work out for me. I did some horror movies, which were pretty bad. I got like my head chopped off, and that was pretty funny. But the first time I ever did any acting was with Kat Von D. I think 2009, it's when I owned my tattoo parlor, and they were looking for locations for the worst film ever made. It's called The Bleeding. It's Vinnie Jones and Michael Madison and all these people, and Kat Von D, and I got to be her sidekick for like a scene. But it was horrible. It was a terrible film. Vinnie Jones is like the nicest guy on the planet, though. Super nice, and he's like 7 foot tall. I was like, carry me around. But it was great. And it opened me up to the world of film, and I didn't know there were so many different jobs that you could do in film. So I've done wardrobe and special effects and a lot of behind-the-scenes work, which is great because sometimes being in front of the camera is not always so good. You're like, you have those days where like lipstick smeared all over, and you're like, why didn't someone tell me? Why? Yeah. So, you know.
It's not easy out there either. It's not easy. You know, it's not easy. But what I want to do is I want to go to an earlier commercial because we do have a few minutes. I got to go to early commercial because I had a lot that I want to get to in the next segment. All right? And we'll be right back with Kitty Crystal.
Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is one of the largest suppliers in the world and your #1 resource for top quality, affordable tattoo and piercing supplies. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is the #1 supplier of tattoo inks in the world with more than 200 products including Mom's Ink, Philadelphia Eddie's Traditional Inks, Paolini Sacred Color Inks, and more. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply, your one-stop shopping destination for great service, best prices, and top quality supplies. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are undeniably distinctive. Selected for their unique, memorable flavor, Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are delivered to you in beautifully designed bottles featuring limited edition artwork. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are available at affordable prices in fine restaurants, bars, and liquor stores. Or check www.coneyislandcarlo.com for availability.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind, and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
Back, Rockin' Inc., back with Kitty Crystal, and we were talking about all her ventures, and she's in the TV land now, and all over the TV land.
I am, yeah. Well, acting didn't really work out, so I've actually, for the last 2 years, been bouncing around a lot of different reality TV shows. My best friend likes to call me reality gold. Which works well for me. I love it. I love it. I don't have to worry about lines or scripts, and I've done some really interesting projects. So.
What are some of the projects? Let us know. So I'm going to say, oh, I seen her on that. That was her.
I was on Worst Cooks in America season 4, which is just really embarrassing because I really am a bad cook, and I eat dinosaur chicken nuggets. Which I love! Still to this day, you can't take that away from me, Food Network. And Burrell, I'm watching you. But I actually just recently did a dating show, which is different than, I normally don't talk about like my personal life all that much, but yes, I am single. I've been single for a long time. So I took a risk and I did a dating show.
You did a dating
show. I did. It's a special effects dating show. It's going to be on A&E. It's called Sexy Beast, and it's hard. It's hard to explain. It's
hard to explain?
It is. It is a little hard to explain.
I picked up a sizzle so we could show what it actually looks like so people have an idea, and we could talk about it a little bit more.
Oh, no.
All right? So let's go to the sizzle on Sexy Beast. Back. I guess we lost the sound, but anyway, you got this. At least they got to see.
They
right?
did.
So,
they did. It is an amazing social experiment. I really actually wish that more people had the opportunity to do this. Not necessarily in the dating capacity because it was a little intense, but it was really interesting to see how people responded because as you can see, we're in full special effects costumes and. Well, one, it's hot because we did it in the summer of Manhattan, but people don't get to see what you look like at all. There was no tattoos, no facial features, no structures, no emotions that are really coming through. It's just your eyes and your personality, and it was. And
you were out in the real world, so you actually went to like a restaurant and you like walked in the street. That's
yes,
how it was, really.
Yes, yeah.
What were the reactions of the people walking around?
I think the biggest reactions we got is when we did the OTFs, which is on the fly, interviews of situations. So we would be on a date or whatever, and they pull you out to the street, and it's just you and a cameraman and your producer, and they're like asking you questions, and you're like responding, and I don't see myself. I don't even know what I really look like, but I'm in a character, and people are just kind of like dumbfounded that you're standing out there. New York City, we see a lot of crazy stuff, but that was definitely a lot of crazy reactions. Little kids really liked me.
The little kids liked you. Huh?
They were scared at first, but then you're like, you're playing with them, and it's fun. So I enjoyed that a lot.
That's great. So you have that coming out on A&E. When is it coming out?
It should be out this fall sometime. I'm not 100% sure. That's not my department.
Okay.
But it is coming out soon. I'm really excited about it. It's really big in England. It's actually a BBC production, and it does really well over there. But for me, it was such a great social experiment just to see how people responded. You know, they couldn't see what I looked like at all. They didn't know about my modeling. They didn't know about my, previous television work. They didn't know I had tattoos, and I didn't really even talk about it. I talked about my passion for the arts and, my hatred of karaoke. So it's interesting to see how people respond, and I really enjoyed that. And I think that more people, maybe employers, you should all dress up in crazy costumes and not have to see each other. Because, you get so much a different reaction out of somebody when you can't see what they look like, and that's scary because you gotta pick these guys for a date.
That's a lot. What has to do with a relationship, A lot of people look at somebody from the outside and they don't get to know them on the inside. So this is like great for that,
Yeah,
in that position,
It's really amazing because, the outfit that I was wearing, you couldn't see any of my curves because I'm a very curvy white girl. So, you don't know how people are going to respond to you because, some people are a little more into the physical appearance, and that's understandable. At some point, we all have somebody that we're more attracted to than others. And that's perfectly fine. And it's interesting to see how these producers, you took your ideal candidate. And I'm like, yes, I need a guy that looks like this. And then you see finally when the curtain drops what this person looks like under all this prosthetics. And you're like, holy crap. That's not what I expected at all. And I'm sure they're thinking the same thing about me. So I'm actually excited to see America's opinion about how things went. It's just so different, and it was really an adventure. I really, really enjoyed it.
Well, I wish you luck, because if it's a success, it's going to be that much more on your plate, right?
Yay! I hope everything's a success for everybody.
You also have coming out before the end of this year a few magazine covers too, right?
I do. I've got a magazine out of Oklahoma. It's called Red Dirt. We're in that, as well as I did a big spread for Ain't Girls magazine, which is actually based in New York City, which is great. And so I've got some other things coming out, which is really, really wonderful. And, I've got some new sponsors, which is really nice. So I'll be all over some flyers for that, I'm sure, and that'll be exciting. I enjoy that. Yeah.
You have a lot of things going on. It's
great.
Yeah,
it keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah. So, also on top of that, why don't you give everyone out there your social media so they can find you?
Yes.
Because we're not looking for Hello Kitty.
Please don't search that for me, and you'll find weird stuff. No, it's kittycrystalofficial.com. My website actually has everything. It's got all the links to my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, my IMDb page, if you really want to follow the actual movies that I'm in, a lot of the different shows that I've done, everything from Cake Boss to, Worst Cooks in America, America's Worst Tattoos, Ink Master, all my different appearances are listed on my IMDb, but kittycrystalofficial.com, and it's got all my links, so one-stop shop. It's where you can go see some great stuff.
It's great. Yeah, like I said, you have a lot of great stuff. I didn't get to see any of your art stuff. I didn't really get to find it, but
it's out there. It's out there.
I'll get to see it.
Yeah, I've got it in little extra places, but I'm bringing it back. I tried to. This year, I really kind of honed in on
Do you sell
where
any
I'm
of
going.
it?
Not as much as I used to. I used to sell a lot. I used to do at least 2 art shows a year. But when I moved to New York, I realized there was such a larger art market, and I was such a small little art person, so it.
No, what we could do. I was talking to Kitty about coming to our December 7th event. Maybe we could get you to bring one of your pictures, and you can sell it there and sign it.
Absolutely.
So if you want to meet Kitty, she's going to be at the event December 7th. We're doing it. Like I said, I'm trying to add a lot of fun stuff there. So be there, and she'll be there, and we'll take care of everything. We're going to have a great time down there.
It's going to be a blast, I'm sure.
We're going to have a great time. But I want to get to my Reverb Nation Music Spotlight. All right. Tonight I have a very different type of a band. I usually, I love my rock and roll, but I figured tonight, being a little on the mellower side, I'm tired, bring it down a little. This is a band called Healthy Junkies, and they're from London. And they have this punk, new wave, pop rock type of thing going on. And the singer Nina, she has that, I wouldn't say Madonna type look, but she has that, you know, young, good, fun, energy type of girl look. And I just liked the whole thing because it gave me that new wave and the pop and the rock type of thing, and it was something different. And, you know, I like getting bands from all over the world, so I want to have to my Health Food Junkies, they're my Reverb Nation Music Spotlight, and I want to thank Kitty for being with us. Don't forget her website, December 7th, she'll be with us, and she's out there, and she's got a lot of stuff. Look for her on A&E. You know, it's going to be a great show. I can't wait to see it. I got to see some pictures, but you got to watch the show. It's great. Hush. So until next week, Healthy Junkies, see you guys.
Welcome to Rockin' Inc. MC. I'm Phil Honey Jones from Healthy Junkies, and I'd like to thank Reverb Nation for the opportunity to be featured on Rockin' Inc. MC's video spotlight. This is our video, Manifesto.
an undertow. You're drowning everything in me. The way she moves, the way she knows everything I need.